Welcome to the Faces of Grand Prairie, a community podcast where we interview people who live, work, and serve in my hometown of Grand Prairie, Texas. This podcast is made possible through business sponsorships and generous donations from listeners like you. If you like what we're doing, support us at the link below. But now, here's a word from our local sponsors. Jenna Pecor is a realtor with Bancroft Realty. She's a senior real estate specialist through the National Board of Realtors and has served the over 50 community in Grand Prairie for 11 years. She specializes in working with adult children who are helping their aging parents sell their home, and she can also help locate the senior living community that is right for you or your loved one if you are looking. You are invited to her upcoming event, the Adult Children of Aging Parents Support Group, where the topic will be Parents, Families, and Real Estate. We'll be discussing the dynamics between siblings and family members when selling a parent's home. This event is free to the public. Join us June 10th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Grand Prairie Chamber of Commerce, which is located on 900 Conover in North Grand Prairie. RSVP to Jenna via her email at jenna@jennapecor.com. Today's Grand Prairie nonprofit spotlight goes to Grand Prairie United Charities. They are dedicated to partnering with the community to empower families with hope, food security, and emergency financial assistance. They are committed to fostering a compassionate community where every family has the resources that they need to thrive. Their mission is to empower families by providing essential support through food distribution, emergency financial assistance, and a steadfast commitment to bringing hope to anyone who has fallen on hard times. Together, we all strive to build a better future for the members of our Grand Prairie community. They offer emergency assistance for rent and mortgage, shelter in the form of hotels for the homeless, utilities, electric, gas, and water, and an on-site choice food pantry, which I have personally worked in and volunteered for. Grand Prairie families can access their food pantry every 30 days. It's a wonderful charity. I've worked with them for quite some time, and I'm very glad to be spotlighting this organization today. Visit their website at gpuc.org to learn more about how you can volunteer or donate, or even if you are in need of assistance, they can help you there as well. Coffee News is a weekly publication delivered to restaurants, coffee shops, hotels, and anywhere people go to have a bite to eat or wait for service. Everything in Coffee News is fun and entertaining. It is a breath of fresh air for millions of readers tired of hearing only bad news. Coffee News is always positive. At Coffee News of Grand Prairie, their mission is to help small and medium-sized local businesses grow with affordable, exclusive advertising. This means that your ad is being viewed every day. Coffee News editions are placed in businesses where people are waiting for food and service. The distribution locations are chosen carefully to ensure you have the largest viewing audience. With exposure 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, your ad reminds current clients and customers to return to your business for products or services while constantly creating interest for potential new clients or customers. Go to coffeenewsgp.com to learn more. My Generosity Estate Sales has been providing estate liquidation services in Grand Prairie since 2015. They are a trusted member of the Grand Prairie community and a proud affiliate of the Arlington Board of Realtors. Generosity Estate Sales specializes in helping adult children through the emotionally difficult process of liquidating a loved one's estate and helping seniors downsize for their next phase of life. To find out more about their services or follow their upcoming sales, go to mygenerosityestatesales.com.
I would love to show it to them.
I was in theater in South, and that's when she interviewed us. And so I went back and I showed my daughter, and she goes, "Mom, you had a really Southern accent back then."
Maybe they don't always catch the best aspects, but that's
Yeah.
something.
Hey, now I sounded pretty awesome. No, I'm just kidding. But she goes, "Oh my gosh, Mom, you look so young," and I'm like, "Excuse me, I look exactly the same." Well, Dr. Trujillo, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
So tell everybody who you are.
Well, I am now the superintendent of Grand Prairie ISD, and I'm a husband of 37 years.
Congratulations.
High school sweetheart. We went to high school together.
Aw,
I'm a parent of 3 kids, adult kids. They're all graduated with their bachelor's and a couple of them with their master's. And one of the most exciting things as a parent is when your kids are off of your bill.
Oh, yeah.
They're able to do things for themselves. So my son, actually right now, as I speak, he's traveling from Seattle to his new permanent home in Austin, Texas.
Aw.
And my 2 girls live in Cedar Hill.
I bet you're excited
So
about that,
I
having
am.
him back close to you.
I am. And as you can tell, I'm starting off with family because family is important to me.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
so that's the piece that makes our lives worthwhile going back to work. You fill that bucket in your personal life, then you can go into work and do the amazing things that you need to do. So I'm also a veteran, United States Air Force.
Thank you for your service.
Yes. I went in through the delayed entry. I attended New Mexico Military Institute. Let me clarify that. Most people go to a military institute if they're a discipline problem. I was not.
Okay.
I went on a track scholarship and I ran track there. And then did a lot of work in the business side of it. I was a property reacquisition specialist. You know what that is?
I can't say I do.
That's a fancy name for repo man.
Okay.
It's a very, very interesting name.
It is. And actually a lot of your work, you need to know this, a lot of the things that are put in your path. When God sets your path and you hit all these different jobs, never look at it as a bad thing because it's the next rung to the next level.
Yeah.
So being able to do that job has allowed me to have some difficult conversation.
Mm.
Trust me, try taking somebody's keys for their car because they can't make the car payment. You have to do it in a humane way,
Yeah.
but you have to still leave with a property.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing when you go into the role of superintendent or as a principal, is you're having difficult conversations, and it's not always winning the battle. It's just seeing if you can make it through that war of a situation, and then you arrive with it. So I did that. Drove a truck. I was distance hauler for Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company.
Oh, no.
So I delivered that. I was in construction for a little while. Then all of a sudden I got a strange call that said, "We heard you can run." And that's where my trajectory changed because I wound up at Wayland Baptist University in Plainview, Texas, which is in the Panhandle. And I went there and run track. And my claim to fame, and I can't do it to save my life now, but all I have to do is run faster than the slowest person.
Very true.
That's true in many aspects of
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
If a lion's chasing me, I just got to beat the guy that's slower than me. But I ran track. My claim to fame back then is, if you know the name Michael Johnson, great track person. I did run in a heat with him, got my tail kicked.
Oh, okay.
But
Wasn't he an Olympian?
He is an Olympian.
And he's like a gold medal Olympian.
Medal
Like the
Olympian.
fastest human alive, I think,
Okay.
at one
It's
point.
very impressive that
Yeah.
you just ran with.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were running in track and in the stands. Going back a little further, for those that know, Carl Lewis was in the stands watching Michael Johnson because that was going to be his next big competitor. So I like to say that Carl Lewis is there watching me run.
Oh, okay.
And he was not.
Well, he
So-
saw you, so.
It could be both. It could be there for both of you.
Absolutely. So, and that's all took me in that direction. And then I went into, I started going into the pathway of computer information systems, and degree in business was the direction I was going.
Yeah.
And it's a strange thing when you go to college, you're going to start one way, and you're never going to. Some people go that one way. I didn't. I went that one way, and then I wound up in the direction of education. And it's God sent because I've been able and been very blessed with that. Both my wife and I are educators, and so and she just retired, and I get to continue. I get to continue to move forward. So this is exciting. And now I find myself in Grand Prairie, back at home.
Yeah.
I was here in 2012. Another wisdom that I can share is always surround yourself with people that you're going to be able to learn from. And I did that by intentionally coming here and working for a superintendent that I was looking to work for. It took me 2 years, but I didn't lose my focus, and I came here and worked for Dr. Susan Simpson and worked with her for 7 years. And then at that point, I knew I needed to cast my wings, and I went out there and became the superintendent in East Texas, in Nacogdoches, oldest town, arguably. Some people don't say this. Arguably, they say they are the oldest town in Texas. Beautiful part of Texas. If you don't like pine trees and get claustrophobic, do not move to East Texas.
Okay. And that is where part of the space shuttle fell. Like, what was that? 20 years ago, something like that. Yeah.
And they have a memorial there set for it, and a lot of the community, they went out to find pieces of the shuttle when it did, unfortunately, go down. So.
Well, a little fast fact: to this day, I just set out. I did an interview with a Vietnam veteran that lives in the community, and it's got the most views of any of my videos so far. So there's clearly stories that people want to hear about that. So we appreciate that. I'm glad that you shared all that. And so I want to introduce you guys. So Cadence, we'll start with you. Tell us who you are and what campus you're from and what you're doing here.
All right. Well, my name is Cadence. I'm a junior at Dubiski High School. Fantastic school. And I'm in the media tech pathway, which we make, obviously media, but we do short films, we do full-length films, we do all genres, multimodal, basically anything behind a camera, in front of a camera, microphone, that's what we work with. And it's a great opportunity, obviously like this, to get to come out into my community and get to make a difference and get to talk to new people. And it's a great thing.
Well, and y'all we can talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So,
Emily?
I'm Emily Aquino. I'm from Dubiski High School, representing the audio-visual pathway. So here we're just chasing another opportunity, getting to interview you. It's really learning wisdom and gaining that experience. So thank you for having us here, actually.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And not in the camera, we have your teacher, Mr. Tyler Case. And then we have communications director for the district, Sam Buckmeyer. And then we have in the engineering booth, we have one of your previous students, Meghan. She was at Byrd when you were there, Byrd Junior High in Duncanville, and she was so excited to be here. So, so y'all recently won an award. Tell us about that award.
So we won an award for state for Skills USA. This is, I think, the first time we've won at state in like 7 years in our pathway. So we're really excited about
Congratulations.
it. Our teachers really excited about it. So we actually did do audio for that competition. So we did audio radio. We had a podcast that we had to do in a set of 2 minutes and then a commercial of 30 seconds. And so we prepared all of that. We put it in and we got something back. After doing this for 3 years.
We got first place. We're going to nationals in Atlanta, Georgia over the summer. And actually, as said, this is Emily's senior year, so it's kind of a send-off because besides being partners in a lot of what we do school-wise, we're also really good friends.
Yeah.
So it's a really good opportunity, which is just what this whole thing is about. It's about opportunities for friendship and growth.
Mm-hmm. And y'all can hear the people in the background. I don't know if y'all can hear it on the microphone, probably not, but we record this at the Epic, and they're doing some kind of band thing today. I saw a big band of music, which we love having the curtains open so people can see and we can see out, and it's great. So, well, for those listening, I went to GPISD, and I asked to get some students to help me interview the new superintendent. And I said, I want y'all to create some questions that y'all could ask him. So I will just leave it to y'all. Y'all want to ask him the first question?
All right.
Before you ask the question, I want to make sure that the public knows this. For the first time in the history of Grand Prairie, every pathway in the district has made it to state and has national representation. So y'all have accomplished something that no other group of students has ever accomplished. And I was here in 2012 when Dubiski was just being created, and you go up 161, and you don't all this new stuff. like this building, all of this was not here.
Yeah.
So coming back and seeing this is mind-blowing. But also to see a group of students coming up through the system, and now every pathway is at state competition, that is amazing. So y'all didn't leave anybody behind. Every one of your pathways is there. So kudos
Hello,
to the
Junior.
teacher.
Our Councilman Junior is on it in the back there.
But kudos to the teachers. We have one hits here, but I'm very proud of the work that they do because they pour into you all, and then you go out there and show to the state how amazing you are. I just wanted to make sure we have two amazing folks that are here, but I wanted to recognize all the pathways for the first time in history. They've made it that way. So congratulations.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah, it's really just a testament to educators like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't just give credit to ourselves. We had a lot. I think this is the first group that we had so many from Media Tech actually come forward to go to state.
Wow.
We had the most competing and the most going forward. I think this is the first time we had like sophomores actually take an initiative to compete in the district level, and they got first place at district and made it to state. So
we had 50 plus just media competing at district.
Yeah. And it's all thanks to Mr. Case.
Absolutely.
So. Wow.
Thank you, Mr. Case.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
Y'all can wave. Let's wave at all these kids out there. Hello. They think y'all are celebrities right now. Y'all are going to be celebrities to them. They're like, who are those people in there? They must be important. Okay, so go ahead. What's y'all's first question?
Okay, so our first question for you is, what got you into education?
Well, I can honestly tell you that sometimes we think we're going in one direction. I thought I was going to be a career military person, and that was the world that I was going to be in. Life took me a different direction. Then I went to college, and you heard some of the things that I did in between there. Any one of them could have been a career.
Yeah.
But the ambition to do something more, because we only have one life.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do more with this life that I've been gifted and for my family. So I took that opportunity to go to the next position and the next position, and then I wound up in education. So that's why I really value the CTE programming, because any one of my pathways that I had could have led to a career, but it took me to college. Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And then I went there and I got my degree, and it allowed me to be a classroom teacher. I was an algebra teacher. I loved it. I've loved being a classroom teacher. But then it took me the opportunity to become an assistant principal, then become a principal. And then I wanted to impact more.
Yeah.
So I said, let me get to the district level, and I did. And then I said, I want to impact more kids. And that's where it took me to the superintendency. And so I want to gift that back. So going into education and any career that we're going to be in, you can't look at it as a bookend, because you always have another opportunity. We live in the greatest country in the world. And that allows us to really do amazing things and move to that next level of whatever that may be. So I wish I could tell you that this is my plan. But when I go back and I see friends of mine that I grew up with, that I went to high school with, and I tell them what I'm doing, they're like, "You're what?
Yeah.
You're a superintendent?" But I thank the good Lord for where I'm at. Everything was destined to happen this way, and it was a blessing. So,
and it may not have been your plan, but it was God's plan.
Absolutely. And I embrace that, and I cherish that gift. Also in my interactions with people, because I learned this in the military. You never step on somebody on the way up, because you may need them on the way back down.
That's true.
So that's so every piece of what we work with is we interact humanely with people. This is the only life you get. And this is the only life I get. So let's interact and make it positive for all the folks that are around. There's enough negativeness in the world that we don't need to add to it. So,
what a fantastic answer.
Yeah.
That group that just went through was Kennedy.
Oh.
I think y'all probably just created a bunch of new audio and visual pathways students.
The kids were so cute. They were waving, poking on the glass.
There will be some kid, I guarantee it, that's like, oh my gosh, I walked past this really cool thing and they were doing it, and I really wanted to get in that pathway. I mean, seriously. Yeah, absolutely.
or they're in another district. You were
that's right.
You were in Arlington, and you came from Martin, and you're now in Grand Prairie.
Yeah, I was.
So come on.
Exactly.
All right. The next question we have is, what do you love most about being the superintendent?
I love the ability for all of us and watching other people pull the greatness out of each other, because we all have it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes a person to be in the same room with you, somebody to interact with you, and they pull that out of you. The amazing thing is to see a teacher that comes in and he or she sees that tremendous potential in you, but you don't see it yet.
Yeah.
But they see it because they've seen it before. They've seen it. They see that little spark in your eye. They see it in your openness to interact, and then they grab you. The tough part is that when 2 or more teachers see that in you, and they want you to go their direction.
Oh.
And now you have to make a decision of which direction you want to go. But it's really being around people that see that tremendous potential in folks, and they come out. Like this young lady here. Okay, when I was her principal at Byrd, and when I first saw her this morning, I mean, that's been decades ago.
Yeah.
But I remember her. And so the first thing y'all saw is I gave her a big embrace. It's great to see you. And how's your dad doing? But to her and to folks around us is that connection, a human connection. Teachers do that same thing. Teachers will not see you for many years. They'll see you in the store with your families, but you left a handprint in your heart. So they will stop and come over and say, how are things going? Are you still doing this? And so that they build relationships for a lifetime. That's what education is about. And I just wish that our officials felt that same way, that they cherish the educators and they lift up the educators, because they are the cornerstone for every industry. It doesn't matter what job you're doing, an educator touched your heart to pull that out of you. So that's what I love about being a superintendent, is I get to see that being pulled out, that passion from the kids. So.
I got to interject a story. So my mom is Debbie Pecor. She was at Zavala forever and ever. And when I told her that, when I asked her about how she felt about you coming, she was like, I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. But to speak to your thing, we were at California. This was in like 90s. We were doing like a family vacation, and we were touring the Tonight Show studio. And all of a sudden we hear, Miss Pecor, Miss Pecor. And she goes, what? And it was one of her students that had, like, she didn't have her anymore, but we were like, how are we in California? And we have people that still recognize, but we got that all the time. So educators do make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
For sure.
That's part of the reason that why we're here today.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right.
Just a tidbit, I can attest to that because actually my mom is an educator. She's a teacher at Dubiski.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So all the time when we're out at grocery shopping, fast food, anywhere, we'll find it out or see her students. They'll be like, oh, Miss Key, it's been so good. And they'll catch up. And it's just such a wonderful thing to see.
Absolutely.
Well, what does she teach?
She teaches English.
English.
For
Very
sophomores.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Why her language is so higher up. Okay, so for our next question, what attracted you particularly to GPISD?
Well, initially when I first came in 2012, it was to work for a great leader. I didn't know too much about the community. I knew that the leader that they had was innovative, great ideas. They were cutting edge. They're doing a lot of things that was just out of the ordinary. Matter of fact, my dissertation for my doctorates was based on the programming that was here in Grand Prairie.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
that's an incredible accomplishment.
That one dealt with choice.
Yeah.
An unusual thing where you take the boundaries around a community and you say, there's no boundaries.
Yep.
We'll accept anybody and everybody in the Metroplex. And so that's what I came to work for, is a superintendent, was a visionary, was innovative, and really ahead of her time in a lot of the thinking that she was doing. The second journey coming back is coming back home. That's a lot for me, is not home only for the teachers and the community, because walking around seeing familiar faces, you have institutional knowledge, historical knowledge about the organization and the potential of the amazing things that can continue to elevate Grand Prairie, but also for my family. When I've got 2 little granddaughters, they call me Papa. Let me tell you a little story behind that. I wanted them to say Papa before they said Mimi, because their grandmother is Mimi. So I got Pop Rocks.
Oh.
And I kept them in my pocket.
Oh
So
my
there,
gosh.
the 4-year-old that she would come up and she'd walk up and I said, pop, 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 pop.
Wow, that
And so-
is impressive.
Little bribery
You
behind
instilled
it.
it, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I wanted them, and to this day, they come up and if I know I'm going to see them, I'll have Pop Rocks in my pocket because I wanted a candy with an attitude.
Yeah.
You know, there's no other candy that has an attitude. It's not done until it keeps popping. And I'm going to tell you, watching these little girls put those Pop Rocks in their mouth and they're giggling because it tickles their nose and everything. Though that's why I'm here. Also, is my girls. I got my 2 girls here. Their family, wonderful men that are their significant others. But it's also the little ones because I get to be part of their lives. We in education. Your mom, okay, has raised thousands of kids in their career.
Absolutely.
So, as educators, we cannot neglect the most important, which is our own kids. So, I am a testament that anything that's going on in your life, your mom teaches English, but she needs to also say, stop, because I got to go celebrate my daughter. Because when you go to college, she's going to want to take you to college and get you into the dorms and get you all set up for that. I want that for our educators, but they got to get it from their leader that says, I want you to go enjoy this because you can come back and be a better teacher. I don't want them going off and stressing about, well, I got to get back to the district. I got to go take care of these other kids. No. Take care of your family. Take care of your kids. If we're doing a great job as a school district, then there's teachers that are going to help pick up the slack that's there. And when we do that and we honor that with the staff, people come and work for you, not for the money or the location, but for the people they work with. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I was attracted back to Grand Prairie, is that family event, that family nurturing is here. Plus, who wants to live who does not want to live in a city that has all of this stuff? Oh my gosh.
It's a fantastic
You go
place.
161 and if you want to race cars, you could do that. Pretty soon, if you want to play Top Golf, you could do that. You want to go
everywhere.
swimming, you want to do this, you can do it here. You like shopping, go to IKEA. It's all right here in the hub. And I shared this with Sam coming up here. We went to IKEA last night, my wife and I. On the way home, I looked to the left and I saw a Dominican flag on a little bitty shop right on the side. And my mom is Dominican from La República Dominicana. I don't know if people know this, but I am fluently in Spanish, and she's from Punta Cana, a lovely lady. I lost her during COVID. But when I saw that Dominican flag, it touched me. So I said, I'm going to turn around. It was dinner time. So it's a little hole in the wall here in Grand Prairie, drove in there, and I met a most beautiful family, a Dominican family that's running a business here in Grand Prairie for a year. And when you walk in and the smell reminds you of your grandmother and the food reminds you of your mom, that's not going to be the last time I walk into this little place. But that's why I'm back in Grand Prairie is there's options, there's opportunity, there's great people, there's family, there's wonderful teachers. And I told Sam, this is my last hurrah. This is what is going to take me into the next phase of my life is being a superintendent in Grand Prairie. However long I will be here, this will be the last place that I will serve as a public servant. I've served my country twice, once for the military and once as a public educator. And we have a lot of those in our district that mow lawns, they work in construction, they were military people, and they now are serving public education. So kudos to those that are doing that. But that's a long answer, but that's why Grand Prairie. It's a biggest little hometown feel you can feel
that's true.
for folks to come in. So
And our little plug is hopefully we can get the internship going, and that's a plug for the internships. If you're a small business out there, Grand Prairie has great internships. We can go and review that little hole in the wall because it's great having IKEAs and the Andretti's and all that stuff, but those little bitty small mom and pop places are really the heart of a community.
Absolutely.
And so it'd be great to go and review them and be able to do that. But you're good. I know y'all are going to ask a question about CTE, but I did not get a chance to interview Dr. Hull when she was alive. I started this after she had passed away. Yes. I've always said I feel like she is like I don't think that people understand truly how much of an innovator that she actually was in education. Education has a tendency to, educators are very the rule followers. They want to stay and do what they're asked to do. But it's hard to think outside of the box sometimes. And Dr. Hull thinking outside of the box, when school choice became, it was charters at the time.
Oh, yes.
And she goes, we can't let these charters take our kids away. So she's like, we got to compete with the charters. Mm-hmm. And so that's when she started doing all these academies. And I'll give her so much credit for that, because I, as a real estate agent, I go show houses in a lot of different places. I talk about the CTE in Grand Prairie because it is different than any other district.
Oh, yes.
It's amazing.
You know, some people say out of the box thinking, okay? And you'll hear that in your world. People will say, you know what, it's great to work. It's great to have some out of the box thinking. Okay. She took it to another level.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was no box. Because when you go in that direction and all of a sudden you're going to build a tower, because some people would have thought, you buy property, there's going to be an interstate coming here, it's 161, we're going to build a building here, and it's going to be a multi-tower building, and this will be Dubiski. She was visioning that.
And it's not going to look like a school.
And it's not going to look like a school.
Right. Mm-mm.
Some people actually think it's a bank or something.
They do.
Right
They do.
Yeah. The road.
I think we're corporate workers.
They do, yeah.
But I will tell you this. I learned something, and being a dad of girls, okay? I never paid too much attention to this because you're a parent and you know the opportunity is going to come for them. But when you work with a leader that wants to elevate, and I mean this in a respectful way, I'm not saying because all kids are important, but she really grew women. She really wanted to say, you matter as well. You can do amazing things. And so she had leadership. And matter of fact, there's a state meeting that happens for superintendents. It actually starts on a Sunday, and that's for all the women superintendents. So they come in and they actually talk about leadership as a female superintendent. And so that was one of the things. She was a trailblazer with that, creating that leadership with women in that executive role. And she advocated for that. And I commend her for that, because that's sometimes not real popular to do. But as a dad working and now seeing with my girls, one of them works in Top Golf. And golf is a men's sport most time. It's mostly dominated by that. Yeah. Some of your viewers might not like what I'm saying, but the key though is it's real talk with what we have, and we have to realize it. But for a girl, a young lady, my daughter, to be working in the marketing side of that with a team, it's amazing, because it's not dominated by men. It's the creative nature of a young lady that can take it in there and take it to new heights. So I commend y'all, because you're all two young ladies, bright future ahead of you, all the trailblazers of folks that have come before you. We can't forget how you got there. We talked about Ruthie Jackson at the very beginning. Ruthie Jackson doing the amazing things she was doing then has allowed her to come in here and do this podcast. Now she's touching the future with both of y'all, because y'all are going to take it to a whole different level in your future. So it's exciting. But that was Susan Hull Simpson, Dr. Susan Simpson. And so tremendous opportunity for leaders. She invested in leadership and grew leadership in the district. So
yeah. And Ruthie Jackson, I need to do a whole show on her.
Oh yes.
She was an amazing trailblazer. Sorry, didn't mean to derail the questions.
No,
but
that was fantastic.
I always want to give her credit where credit is due, because what she did was amazing. You're here because of that. Yeah. She said we could pull people from other districts. Ooh, now that is something that wasn't a popular thing to say, because you're like, wait a second, you're going to do what?
Yeah.
But she was like, why not? You know? So anyway.
Just grow in Grand Prairie.
That's right.
All right. Our next question is, what does student success look like to you?
Student success is whatever we build around the passion of kids. I was fortunate to lead a district, and when I walked in, I toured the whole facility. And I walked into a room. This is in 2023, 2021. Okay. This was a class that was there whenever I was growing up. Not at this place, but back in New Mexico, you would walk in, we had wood shop, home ec, you made cookies, and you had sewing, you had keyboarding, those kinds of things. If we don't get ahead of what you need, then you're starting with a lot of constraints. I walked in and I saw sewing machines. Literally, I saw 50 sewing machines in a room, 3 kids in there. So how do you see success is building it around the passion of kids, building a programming around the future of what kids are needing, jobs that may not even exist. I'm a big fan of fine arts. I'm a big fan of CTE programming. I'm an industry-based. All of those are great things. Your mom teaches in a great field of English, but I promise you, kids do not come. Now, I'm going to get some other people upset when I say this, but people don't come to school for math, science, reading, and social studies.
Yeah.
Okay? Those are going to be great.
I did.
Those are byproducts, and we need to do those very well. But if you bring and you build things that attract a student, the field that you're in, you wake up in the morning, you say, I get to do this, and I'm going to go to English, math, science, and history. The athletes are the same way. You build a good athletic program, they come from that, but they're going to go and do the things that they have. What I fear, though, is we do have kids that come to school every single day, and they haven't found something that pulls them to school. And if that happens, then they will fall off of school because they have no reason, whether it's leadership, it's a group organization, it's a fine arts program. We have to build that around kids. I challenged the team on one thing, and they're exploring it right now. So hopefully I'm not letting the cat out of the bag when I say this. Okay, we have Bass Pro Shop that's here. We have Joe Pool Lake. I promise you we have kids that can go out there and compete on fishing.
Because, 100%.
Because there is that competition. But we live in Grand Prairie.
You might get a bunch of dads re-enrolled in school if you
yeah.
start doing that.
But seriously, you think about this. Now, how are we going to know if it doesn't work? But if I can gain 5 kids that say, you know what, we have a bass fishing team that actually can go to competition, and we got Bass Pro Shop here in town, and we got Joe Pool Lake. We've got to think about things that can bring kids to school, whether they're in Grand Prairie or not. Bring them back and say, we're going to build things around what the kids are interested in, and that way we've got the skill set. Let me tell you why I like fine arts, CTE, and all of those. People are constantly asking is, how do I prepare kids for the future? Okay, I don't know what jobs are going to exist, but I know one thing: you better know how to disagree. You better know how to work in a team. You better know how to compete. You better know how to recover when you fail. You better know how to do all the things in creation of something from nothing. Isn't that the jobs of the future? So if you can do that, and you're doing it in the program that you're doing it in construction, you're doing it in fine arts, you're doing it in music, all the areas, you're going through that process. When you went to competition, there's nothing like the adrenaline that was going through you. And then the encouragement you had to give your team when you came out and say, guys, we did good. We did well. And no matter what came out of that, you know you gave them your best. So imagine whatever job you do in the future that you don't need to have those skills. So what we've got to do is grab all of those skills, embed them in everything that we're doing so that you have that Friday night experience everywhere we go. Because I will tell you, I use that as an example. Kids don't play football and tolerate football for just Friday night. They tolerate Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it's grueling workouts. They do all of that. You all tolerate all the grueling stuff that your teacher puts in front of you throughout the whole year so that when you go to competition, you can say, oh, wow, that's why we did that. So that prepares you for the future. And that's why you'll see me as a superintendent saying, challenging the team to let's create around the passion of our kids. And so I still remember a young lady over at GP, and I walked out, and they were doing the firefighter academy, and I was walking out, and there was these big guys there wearing their suits. And in the corner, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a young lady, okay? And the young lady was wearing the fireman's suit. She was having trouble pull the cord to start the saw, but she wanted to be a firefighter. So one of the bigger guys went over there, and he grabbed a hold of it, and he stabilized the bottom. And she started that on her second start. If she didn't feel the success that she was having, was she going to leave the programming? I don't know. But the relationship she built with another student, and he came over to help her, she is now possibly a firefighter or an EMS person, because that was several years ago, either in Grand Prairie or in a surrounding area. So I think we build that passion around you the students, and we have to start young. We start with the little ones because they don't know what they're going to do. In middle school, you didn't know you're going to do this. So you have to have opportunities to experience things so that when you get to the high school, you can pick a track and say, this is the direction I want to go. And then we partner you up with a great teacher, and they take you to the very end. So that's a long answer for that real quick question. So.
That was incredibly well said, though, especially since there's such a problem with students who will flunk out of school or quit school because they feel like working is more important. And it's great that Grand Prairie and Dubiski does career-based classes to really encourage those students that they can pursue school and work at the same time.
Absolutely. And it doesn't necessarily require another group of people that might get upset. It doesn't require you to go to college.
It does not.
You can build a skill set. And if you can go through and become a plumber, trust me, I'm going through a plumbing issue right now. And this plumber is making more right now than an attorney is. And so you have plumbers, the electricians, you have CDL licenses, you have all of that. Then you have the technical skills of things. So you're living in a very rapid system right now. You all are. With us, the Indian came out on television and it was time to turn off the TV and we went to bed. You all are living in a world. Information is coming 90 miles an hour, and if you want to know how to do something, you just pull out your device. And you want to change your brake shoes, you can do it by watching YouTube.
All the information in your pocket,
right there. So, information is important, but we can't have education built on just giving you information because you can get that. We've got to also build you on how to vet that information, how to find the truth in that information, but also what to do with that information. How do you empower people, and how do you create something new, and how do you go out there and do the amazing things as in the commerce that we live in this great country. So
I'll put a little bug in your ear. So one of my businesses is I do estate sales. I've been doing it for 10 years. When I started, I could not get rid of sewing machines, and now they are sold on the first day.
Yeah.
So there's an interest again for that learn how to put and patterns. Like patterns from like the 80s, people are buying like crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, and then they buy all the fabric because then they can repurpose all these clothes and make really cool stuff out of them. So just a bug in your ear.
Oh yes.
Just talking about sewing machines. So.
Oh, by the way, that room with sewing machines, you go back to it, and they're sitting there now with Apple devices. The classroom it has to turn kids away because now they're illustrating, they're doing marketing, they're doing things with it than before. But sewing machines can't come back. As well. So
there's a huge fashion thing that they'll do, like fashion shows here for young people that do their own fashion lines.
Yes.
And they put them out on mannequins out here so that people can see. So it is, that whole fashion industry thing is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Okay, well, moving on. What changes or additions do you want to bring to the classrooms in GPISD?
Well, change is an interesting thing. I always say this: slow is fast, fast is slow. Do you know what that means? How would you interpret that? Slow is fast.
It makes me think of like the little kid nursery rhymes of like the tortoise and the hare. That's just what comes to my mind.
Yeah. And it's basically, if you take the tortoise and the hare, it's basically that. If you look at it, okay, the tortoise, if you go slow, okay, you're going to finish the race because you're taking time to rest, you're trying to think about it, you're just not rushed, and you finish the race. Some people don't like that because they want to get there fast. Yeah. But if you watch the story of the tortoise and the hare, I'm sharing it because you said it, the hare, you run fast, okay, to the point of exhaustion. You don't stop to think, you don't stop to reflect, you don't stop to do anything. And all of a sudden the tortoise passes the hare. And so you get to running all over again, and it wears the system down. It wears you down. It wears the whole organization down. So you make rash decisions. You make things, and so you got to really know what's going on. You got to plan so you can work efficient and effective. It's the same thing with a good log person. I don't even know what they're called. Woodsman, okay? Right? Woodsman? Logger?
Sure.
Woodsman?
Sounds
great.
great.
Logger, that sounds good.
Sounds
Logger.
accurate.
Yeah.
You have to stop to sharpen your
lumberjack.
There
Yes.
you go.
Okay.
You're
Now,
from Nacogdoches.
I should know that because I'm from Nacogdoches. So,
That's the mascot of the college there.
Yes.
So.
Like that
Yeah.
guy on the toilet paper, the lumberjack.
The
Yes,
lumberjack.
brawny.
But you take that saw and you sharpen your blade
Yeah.
so that when you go to the next tree, you can cut it and not have to fight with it. when you're saying about what changes and what things are going through, I'm not looking for changes. What we're looking for is opportunities to refine things. Years ago, going back to the old days, TV now, you just turn it on and go. But in the old days, you had to find your channel, and then there was a button on the inside that was called the fine tuner. And you had to just kind of tune it up just a little bit.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not that old. I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah, so it's the fine tuning that we need to do. And that's the part of leadership. Sometimes when you get into it is a cautionary note. Never go into an organization thinking you have the best answers, thinking that you have all of it. The answers are in the group. And when you asked earlier why Grand Prairie has some amazing educators, some talented folks. So sometimes we just got to unleash that talent. Sometimes we get out of the way. And then there's other times whenever you have to step in and then fine tune a little bit and back away from it. Otherwise, if I'm constantly doing the changes and something's going, so people are sitting there, okay, what else is coming up? What's the next new thing that we're going to do? Yeah. When I might be going back and actually doing something that the organization has already tried and it wasn't successful. And just because it worked in Nacogdoches doesn't mean it's going to work in Grand Prairie and vice versa. So changes there's some things that I'm thinking about. And I feel that I can tell you these things is we really need to concentrate on the younger grades to figure out how we build so that your interest, imagine what you're doing now. How about if we tap that by awareness and building some little bit of a tidbit of giving you some information in middle school or giving you some information in elementary school. Something that comes to mind is esports. Esports is a big thing in the high school. But can we build esports in the middle school? Can we build esports in the grades in the elementary grades?
What is esports?
You tell them. She's reacted.
Well, we actually had a media technology team, audiovisual team that actually made it to the state level and won first place for esports. That's why I had the reaction.
Okay.
So it's like, sports and like games. So
like gaming.
Gaming,
like digital
gaming
sports.
Kind of one of the examples that I have is Rocket League. That's the one that our team competed in, and it just builds them early on. They get to experience that. I think they went to another competition after Skills USA, so they got another opportunity through CTE, and they got to meet more individuals. It even takes them towards college if they want to. I know they got the award for first place, but they also got a scholarship to Waco. So it's just...
And we have that in high school,
but
we don't have it in the lower grades. Yeah. And I have a good superintendent of mine that's down in the Austin areas. He has it from the elementary, middle, and high school. And his high school teams are competing regularly, not just at the state level, at the competition at the national level. And so imagine your potential if you can tap into building that as a skill set. And really, honestly, the skill set that you're going to have, the younger ones, is there's going to be so much coding in the world. There's going to be so much programming in the world. And you can go to college, get a scholarship with esports. You can also get into jobs like working for Amazon or working for a lot of the tech-based companies. And some people like working from home. So that sometimes in those jobs you get that opportunity to work there. That's just one little gamut of area, but you tap that in with your folks and you move away and what if we did this, and you move away and then let the folks come up with the amazing things that we can create for our kids. So.
And it's normally not this dark. It is very, very thundery out there.
I love the rain.
It is.
I know.
It's nice. It's a nice background.
It is. It is. Normally, it's very sunny in here.
Yeah.
And
I would love to comment on what he said, though.
Sorry. Yeah. No, please. I'm sorry. I don't know if y'all can hear at home like all the thunder that's happening right now. So yeah.
It's very dark.
Please.
Yeah. So absolutely, we should increase our reach into elementary and middle school students so that they get that foundation. Doesn't just start in high school.
Yeah.
But I would like to say that Grand Prairie, I can attest because I have been outside the school district, but Grand Prairie especially does such a great job of creating a community, not just in separate schools, but in all of the community. Emily and I are SLTs at Dubiski, which is the student leadership team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and actually for media we're SLTs, and every single pathway has a separate team for SLT. And we have actually done tours at elementary and middle school campuses to go and talk to them about the pathways we have at Dubiski.
The one that just passed, we've toured them.
We have,
good.
That's what we're waving at some of the kids.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and like you said before, that we do want to get middle schools and elementaries more into it, but I mean, we can say that we've seen it. At Skills USA, they had their own esports team for the middle schoolers, so they are getting them early on, and you can just see it. They do gain some sort of experience, and they want a passion for it. I know for me, the only reason I got into audiovisual because I had seen it ahead of time, and it had just been something that was instilled in me, and then I went forward, and that's what I wanted to do.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Those are the innovative things that we have to just sometimes get out of our own way, because we have teachers that are wondering, the wondering, why can't we do this? And sometimes we're so quick to a no that we got to kind of weigh back and say, okay, how can I get a yes out of this no? How can I work through this so that it's what the kids are wanting to do? And then we find teachers that are very skilled in building the capacity of our kids, because it takes a different skill set than your teacher teaching you how to do this. It's going to take a whole different skill set of a teacher working with somebody in the younger grades, because at that point you're not honing in a skill, you're kind of giving them an experience of these are multiple areas you might be able to go to. But that's give you an example, changes and encouragements to some things. But I really adopt the slow is fast, fast is slow. Because if I go too fast, I run over people. And I always caution you in a leadership role, whatever you're doing, stop and look behind you. If nobody is following you, then you're by yourself. So you always got to make sure you slow down and make sure, because you can get so ambitious and excited that you leave everybody behind and they don't even know where you're at anymore. So that's what I surround myself with people that are a lot smarter than myself, and then you just get out of their way.
I think equal level.
Mentorship is very important. I mean, Ruthie Jackson was great at that. That was one of her biggest attributes. Is she would go out and find the people that could run for city council or start a new business or whatever. So y'all mentoring is very important.
Absolutely.
It makes a huge difference.
Now, do we get a warning or something if we're in some kind of weather storm?
Well, are y'all paying attention over there? Are we getting any
so
alerts?
It's so dark out there, so. We're good?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay,
all right. That's funny.
Make sure to pull it.
We're just surrounded by glass, and it's so dark out there. So
that's why I mentioned it. I was like, it's not normally like this. It's funny, but we have these wonderful lights and professional things that are keeping us from looking.
Flash
flood. Okay.
Flash flood. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say. We're in front of a camera, nothing bad can happen.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
It's all good.
We have seen that with social media for sure, right?
For sure. All right. While we're here, might as well continue the questions.
Yes.
So you have talked a little bit about this before, but what are your thoughts on the career and technical education and how it can shape a student's path for the future?
Well, there's so many opportunities through CTE that, number one, the confidence level that you will see visiting with both of you all. It's very refreshing to talk to kids that have been in competition, that have been on teams, because there's a level of confidence you have, and you have to be able to advocate for yourself, because you're going to go to college. Mom and dad are not going to be there to advocate with your professor. Yeah. You have a degree, you have a concern about a grade, you're going to have a conversation with that professor. And sometimes these are old goats that are not going to change the grade. Yeah. But if you advocate for yourself in a job, in an interview, and you've been able to do that, because your teacher, I promise you, when you went to competition, you all had to do everything yourself, get everything situated, and have that voice. Yeah. But it didn't start off that way. And the teachers, pull that out of you in your confidence and able to do that. So that's one thing that you get from the CTE programming, the skills that you have. Even if you don't go this pathway, it's a great skill, because you don't know where this may take you. You might get into a governmental job somewhere, but you know how the media works. So you'll be able to have conversations with that and be able to stage somebody with that. So it broadens your opportunities as you're moving forward. Also, it can subsidize the training that you have, and you decide you want to go to school. You can do this on the side. You can say, you know what, I'm going the medical route, medical billing, and I'm getting that through the CTE programming. I'm going to go off to college, but I'm not going to work at a fast food place while I'm going to college. I'm going to go work at a dental office, and I can subsidize myself and be able to go on to school. So that opportunity is there. The one thing that we have to continually evaluate is reinventing ourselves sometimes so that we don't get it into a box, because we want you to be prepared for what's in the market. So if you're working through architecture and you're not using the latest, greatest software, you're using software that's free on the web, is a district investing in things that are put in your hands? Are you using lathes? Are you using lathes that can be programmed so that it will cut metal or it will cut wood? That's where the school district has to invest on. What is that workforce looking like? And how do we prepare a teacher so that you have that in front of you? But there's other things that we've got to prepare for you all, because many of the CTE kids are going to come out and they're going to go into a market, and realistically, they're probably going to make more money than mom and dad were making when they started their career. Maybe mom and dad are making that much money now, but they've worked 20 or 30 years. You're going straight out of school sometimes and can go straight into diesel mechanics. Give you an example. They can graduate with the certifications for that and go work for Holt Caterpillar and make $70,000, $80,000. So what is now the obligation of the school system? We've got to now make sure that you know how to manage your money. Because if you don't know how to manage that money, then what you'll do is that money will go right through your hands. How do you invest that so that you can take it to the next level? So CTE and impacting the lives of our kids is extremely important. And we don't want to saturate it so much. We want to make sure that we're watching it constantly. If this program is gaining popularity with our kids and it's something that the market needs, then we will get behind it. We have to work with the Texas Workforce Commission in the area to figure out, okay, what is the employability for us that's here? I'm asking the team about drones, because now if you're going out there and you're going to work on evaluating property, most of us adults are paying for roofing. We're getting a lot of kickback from the insurance company because now they're flying drones over homes and looking at your roof. And so are you able to go into that market? And if you are, is there opportunity for the school district to give you that skill set for designing that? I've got another good friend of mine who's a superintendent. He's in Central Texas, where the big giant windmills, wind turbines are at. Well, it used to be that you'd climb up and you look at the wind turbines and see, okay, do we need to stop this one out of service and do we need to repair it? But now you have to have a drone operator that goes in there and they fly up to the top, and you actually need to know how to do that side of it. Law enforcement. We have a law enforcement pathway with the school district. Same thing with drones. They're using drones to make sure that they can go into an environment that maybe keeps them safe. So we've got to look at pieces of what's happening in CTE and go in there and provide that medium for you so that you can see what does that look like. Going back to Ruthie Jackson, she was using coax and cameras. Imagine if we were still, you'd come to this and you were in production and your teacher was using cameras and coax. Well, you're not going to go in that environment. You're going to work in this environment where you have microphones and you have digital, and then it's a platform. So you've got to be able to have the latest and the greatest. And that's expensive, but it also means we prioritize how we're going to budget and provide those opportunities. You're coming to school. Every kid is coming to school into a CTE program. Our job is to design it so it's the best experience that you can have, but it's right at the cutting edge of so you're marketable when you leave the community. So those are things in the CTE program. It's so broad that you look at it. We have the alternative school here in town, and we also need to figure out how do we build CTE programming there for our kids. These are kids, not bad kids. They made bad choices, but they're going to go into the community. How do we prepare them for the community? You drive up and down 20, you see warehouses. Well, can we make sure that our kids are equipped with maybe skid and forklift operator licenses across the board? Because some of our folks are going to go work in a warehouse. Nothing bad with that. You can make good money working there. Amazon, warehouse, wherever you're at. But you have to have skill sets, and I want them to be able to get a job as soon as they apply. So if you got a piece of paper that says I've been trained on a skid and a forklift, and you have another applicant that hasn't been trained on that, and I'm on management, I want to hire, and I need somebody today, guess what? I don't have to spend time training this person. This one has a certification. Where do they get it? Grand Prairie ISD. And then they can get the job and put them in the market. That's our goal, is to make sure that we we provide that opportunity for all of our kids. So.
The conversation that started this whole podcast was with the city councilman. And I said, we have all these kids that are graduating from Grand Prairie ISD making a lot of money, some of them, and they cannot afford a house in this city. Yeah. So, because there's no starter homes right now. No. So it's like, that's part of me being a real estate agent that I'm like, I want to keep y'all here. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what are we doing to create opportunities for y'all to have like, even a condo or a duplex or something that you can start off as a homeowner. Yeah. And so real estate would be a great pathway because there's a lot of appraisers and people like that we need. And entrepreneurship, that's another one. I think it's going to be a big, huge deal. Is you were talking about money. It's like, we need that for like adults. But yeah.
So on to our next question. So through some digging, we were able to establish that you participated in DECA, so a CTE club yourself. When you were a student, can you elaborate how this has impacted your career now? So as an educator or superintendent.
Well, my heart goes out to you all because I have experienced national competition as a kid in high school. The Distributed Education Clubs of America, we didn't have many of the... I asked this question to all of us, the adults. Mm-hmm. If we had the opportunities that you have before you today, would we be doing the job we're doing today? I don't know. I can't honestly answer that because as students today in high school, you have at your fingertips such amazing opportunities for a career path that doesn't require college. Because for us growing up, it was you're going to go to college.
Yeah. Yeah.
And otherwise you were in wood shop or you were in cooking class, but those classes didn't really prepare you for that. Now auto tech did, okay, but these other areas, whether it's medical, whether it's in phlebotomy or it's medical billing, it's in electronics, it's in programming, it's in broadcasting, it's in acting, it's in athletics, it's in fine art. All of that is amazing. But as a student myself, I took every opportunity. Miss Bates, I still remember her, my favorite teacher, Miss Linda Bates, and we still are in contact today. She's a Facebook friend of mine. And she believed in me, and I even took officer roles in that. And my senior year, I traveled to San Francisco for the competition. For a little kid out of Roswell, New Mexico, and by the way, I don't know anything about aliens, okay? So out of Roswell, New Mexico, Roswell Coyotes, I traveled with a team of folks to San Francisco for a competition in DECA. And I made it through state, and I went there. So when you say you made it to state and you're making it to nationals, I know the feeling behind it. And I know the anxiety and the stress and going up there and did they like me? Did they like what we were doing? Did they and your placing and the celebration and all of that, and then to wrap it all up and come back to the community. The only thing I did not experience is what do I do after DECA? Because I came back and then as a graduating senior, what am I going to do? That's not what is today. Our kids go off and they compete and they build that relationship, and then you get scholarships, and then or you go into a workforce. It's amazing how your pathway now takes you that direction, but then you come back and it mega launches you to fields that will take you to a career or next steps that you have. So I Linda Bates, she invested in me. I know the passion that a teacher has because I have experienced it, and that's a person that left a handprint in my heart. And I know some of those leadership skills that I learned in DECA has applied itself to myself in my leadership as well. So Miss Linda Bates, I shout out to her. So.
All right. Hey. All right. And this is our last question for you. Thank you so much for coming. What would you like to say to the students, parents, and overall community of Grand Prairie?
Well, only one person walked on this earth and didn't make a single mistake. Okay, I am not that person. Okay, so please know my heart is full. My heart is big. I have a passion for the kids. I have a passion for the teachers and educators. But I too shall make a mistake. But I promise you, I won't make it again. My goal is to surround myself with folks that are very capable of doing the job. But sometimes in this job, you're going to get people upset.
Yeah.
My goal is not to upset too many people. Okay? But if nobody is upset with what I'm doing in leading this district, then I'm not doing a good job in leading. So I have to challenge us. I have to challenge the teachers. I have to challenge the community. There's big decisions that we have to make in Grand Prairie so that we are financially fiscal in what we're doing. We have to make sure that our programming is real and aligned to the needs of our students. And we have to move away from things that are not efficient and not effective to our ultimate goal. And my ultimate goal is every kid in this district belongs to something that is going to be productive in their life. And our goal is to make that a priority. So I ask for grace coming in brand new, but also know that I am not coming into this job trying to make everybody happy, because I understand in the role of leadership that you're going to get some folks that are not happy with you. I ask for the parents and for the teachers and for the students to give me some grace. I'll give you a good example. And I know y'all have conversations about these little pouches with your cell phones. Okay. I was going through Chick-fil-A here in town.
Yeah.
I have no idea how this young lady knew I was a superintendent, because I was grungy. I was wearing a t-shirt and a ball cap.
Just a feeling.
Just a feeling. She looked at me and she said, "Are you the superintendent?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." And she said, "Can you please do something about these pouches? We don't want to lock up our cell phones."
Yeah.
So I made no promises about that. All I said was, "Thank you for sharing that with me." Our ultimate goal is to provide a safe learning environment that keeps you focused every single day in learning and doesn't distract you from that. And I know that cell phones are like an appendage to us, but this is an area that I truly believe can distract us to a point that we disengage. It can also change our emotions in a heartbeat based on a text. Okay. It can also cause and trigger us to do things that we won't do. I mean, I'm being very specific in one area. And there's some folks that really feel passionate about these cell phones. But I want to make sure that you all know our primary job is education, preparing you for the future. We did not give you a cell phone. That wasn't us. That was mom and dad's, and that was family. So that responsibility falls there. Our job is to provide you the best learning opportunity at school every single day. So to your point, there's going to be requests like the young lady at Chick-fil-A, and I'm going to listen. I'm going to hear. I'm not going to tune you off. Every conversation is important, and you're the most important person in that conversation when you and I are talking. But inaction doesn't mean that I disagree with what you're saying. Inaction is because it's not in the best interest of all students, not just a group of students. So that's what I ask for is grace, and remembering that I am a leader of a pretty large school district with a lot of wonderful teachers, and everyone has varying opinions. Give you one example: referees get yelled at all the time. Okay, you know why? In basketball, why they get yelled at? Because I'm a basketball expert. You know what made me a basketball expert? I played it. But the referee goes through the trainings of what they have to do. And that's the greatest example I can give you is you have coaches on both sides, you have players on both sides, you have fans in the stands. A referee focuses on the court. I need to focus on the court, focus on the kids, focus on the players that are on the field to figure out how we can play the best game we can play. Meanwhile, there's a lot of information being thrown from the stands, and I can't take it personal. I've got to make sure that I'm doing everything for everybody on the court, all the kids in every situation. I know I gave you several different types of examples, but that's where I'm at when it comes to leading this great school district. And I love the rivalry we have, friendly rivalry between all the high schools. We have, but I'm going to end on this note. I am so proud of the kids that for the first time in history made it in all of the pathways to state competition and even going on to nationals. That's a testament to you all as students, testament to our teachers, and a testament to our parents and their commitments for getting up early sometimes of being the fans in the stands so that you could do the amazing things you get to do every single day.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, thank you for answering our questions.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
appreciate it.
It was a pleasure.
All I heard in that story was that there's something about you that is approachable enough for someone to give you that comment.
Yes.
And I can tell you, having sat here and listened and watched, like, it's amazing that you focus so much on these two ladies and these students. Do y'all understand how cool it is that y'all just got an hour of private time
it's
to
incredible.
talk to your superintendent? That did not happen for me. And so I can tell why everybody in this community is so excited that you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, immediately, I could sense it everywhere. Everybody was so excited about you being here. And I appreciate so much you taking your time and coming on, and you had no clue who I was. And so you just got here. And so, but I thank you very much. Yes. And thank y'all for taking the time to bring these young ladies. Thank y'all so much. Y'all did a great job. Y'all did amazing. Well, that is wonderful. And this will actually be airing tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Usually it takes a while because I have others, but I really wanted this to come out as soon as possible. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all very much. Let's go out and get in the rain.
All right.
Bye-bye.